Hi, Ben here. Now, every so often a GM makes a mistake and I'm no different. Now, my mistake was to forget to press the record button on one of the game sessions. But fortunately, with the miracle of modern technology, I'm hoping to recreate the lost events from that game with you now. So here goes. Talyn and Wellby, two Harper agents out of Waterdeep, came to the town of Larrakh in the Desrin Valley, hoping to track down the whereabouts of a missing delegation from Mirabar in the north. In particular, the safety of a shield dwarf historian and his important manuscripts were of particular importance to the Harpers. Along the way, the two joined up with the enigmatic captain, a former adventurer who was trying to track down the missing crew members of his ship. Their investigations uncovered a mysterious faction operating in the town of Larrakh that seemed to be engaged in dubious activities. On the morning of the third day in the town, a huge sinkhole opened up in the centre of it. Following this incident, Wellby and Talyn spotted several shady characters entering a tunnel in a nearby quarry. Separated from the captain, who they are unable to locate, the two make the decision to venture into the tunnel alone. With the way blocked off back to the surface, the two push forward and enter a cavern that is evidently directly underneath where the sinkhole opened up. The six figures they followed in the tunnel lay dead in front of them, apparently killed by bladed weapons. As they look up, they spot a couple of figures climbing up a rope to the surface. Choosing to stay in the underground tunnel, our heroes walk through a door and to a junction where there are two stone reliefs carved into the doors leading to the north and south. After seeing cages stacked up in the main corridor that they're currently in, they decide to take the north route. Here they find a passageway leading to a small room with three unidentifiable corpses, which are being gnawed on by rats. Avoiding the rats, they enter a room with a strange hovering stone boulder. They are unable to work out the purpose of the stone and they carry on to the south, where they enter a large open room with a large broken statue of a dwarf. The party also discover a dagger coated in dried blood and several coins in front of the statue. They then make their way into the joining room to the west, where they discover Grund, the pickle farmer, who they recognise, standing guard, as well as a young boy they haven't seen before, pinned under a pile of small boulders. Grund is agitated by the arrival of Talyn and Wellby and tells them to leave. Eventually, Grund grabs Talyn and attempts to drag him out of the room. The party defend themselves, and Grund is soon subdued. Reviving the boy, they learn that he is Braylin Hatherhand. Braylin tells our heroes that a group known as the Believers put him under the stones as punishment for failing to deliver a slip of paper from his father, Rotha Hatherland, to Ilmeth Waveler, who are both members of the Believers. Other Believers that Braylin tells Wellby and Talyn about are Baragustus Harbuckler and Melandro Gaelker. Braylin says that Grund isn't really a believer, but that the Believers look after the half-orc, and he does what they tell him to do. The Believers are revealed to be a secret group made of many of the most important people in town. They guard the moving stones and make sure that no one disturbs the Delvers, who are entombed here. Braylin tells our heroes that the Chamber of Moving Stones is to the east, where the Believers examine the stone movements and use them to predict the future and make decisions for Larrakh. With this information, they instruct the now sheepish Grund to take Braylin back to the surface. In a corridor leading to the Chamber of Moving Stones, the party encounters Baragustus, a retired carpenter who is one of the Believers. Baragustus begs for mercy and claims that he had nothing to do with the dead bodies encountered in one of the previous rooms. He reveals that Larrakh was an earth priest who arrived in Larrakh to assist the Believers in interpreting the stone's movements. Wellby and Talyn allow the old carpenter to flee before they enter the Chamber of Moving Stones. Larrakh is standing in the tomb. He reveals that he knows his Bringers of Woe made a deal with Orioth the Necromancer, and that their meddling has ruined his plans for Larrakh, exclaiming his disgust at the incompetence of the town's Believers and the Harpers for interfering. He attacks the party using powerful earth magic, rendering Talyn unconscious. Revived by Wellby, Talyn manages to make use of this wand of fear, which you find in Larrakh. This buys the party some time, and they discover that the captain has been turned to stone in the chamber, presumably by Larrakh. When Larrakh returns, our heroes eventually force him into a retreat after a hard-fought battle. Larrakh escapes via a secret door to the south and then triggers a tunnel collapse behind him. With the encounter over, Talyn attempts to use 2 scrolls of greater restoration on the captain's petrified remains. With Talyn failing to cast the advanced spell on the first scroll, he is just about successful with his second attempt, and the captain is brought back to life. Now we continue.
Shame we had to use both the scrolls, because I'm thinking that dwarf in the antechamber was actually turned to stone.
I thought it was quite big. I think it was life size.
I thought the description on the plaque said that he'd been turned to stone or something.
Yeah. Well, that guy could have been awful. We saved the guy we know.
I think the only passageway we've got left is back where I tried the northern relief, and then...
And to be fair, I don't think we would survive another encounter with the guy that we only just survived.
Yeah, but we've got the beefcake captain now. We've got
I say we crawl back and recuperate.
Well, yeah, we should continue the search for Larrakh, I think.
The captain says that when he entered the room earlier, the stones were hovering, but now they seem to be grounded.
I asked the captain how we ended up in this situation.
He said that he was in Wellby's wagon works and that he was looking for wagons. Wellby wasn't being very helpful, but he went having a look round. He heard a noise coming from the yard, and he went into the yard to have a look, and he saw someone descending into some steps inside a little hut out the back. He then followed the said person down into what seemed to be a winding underground tunnel, which is the one which is now blocked off. As he entered, he encountered Larrakh. The stones were hovering. The next thing he knew, the stones weren't there. Things had changed position. The lighting had changed, and you were both there. So he says what exactly happened in those moments, because he was a bit confused.
I will recount our version of events, and then we'll skip to the bit where we are now.
Okay.
Captain, is the passage that just collapsed the one you came down from the hut?
He nods and says, yes, it was. That leads to the yard in Wellby's wagon works.
Ah, that means Larrakh has made his escape. There's no point searching for him anymore down here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should go back to the surface then.
Yep.
Talyn, are we going to go out the way Grund went, out through the cages, or do we go back the way we came?
Let's go back the way Pickleman went.
You walk through these corridors. The captain has a torch now, so he can see.
Right.
And you reach the stone reliefs. The captain says, so what else did you find down here? Any idea what this place is for?
This place seems to have been a mine, possibly. Maybe some sort of temple. We've met several people from the town down here, and there are 3 corpses past the northern relief that we didn't identify.
Is it worth trying to identify them?
It won't take 5 minutes. Yeah, let's go and do that. There might be rats still there, but we'll take a look. Could be important. They could be the people who were the grave diggers at the cave thinking about it. Hopefully the captain will make short work of these rats, because I'm not feeling too good.
The rats are still there. The bodies, as they were before, there's not much left on them. All sinew and bone, although you can't really get too close to have a great look unless you possibly risk disturbing the rats.
How old do the corpses look?
The flesh that the rats are eating is relatively fresh, within a week old.
Alright, I step forward and try and shoo the rats away.
The rats hiss and become hostile. Another one creeps out from the corners, small holes. They immediately run to the nearest person there who's disturbing the meal in their habitat.
Well, crap.
This one tries to take a bite out of Wellby's leg. 10 versus your AC.
That's a miss.
The next one also kind of lunges forward, hissing, "Ow!" Bites some flesh out of your leg for 4 piercing damage.
Oh my god.
See, I said we should go home and recuperate. But no, someone has to kick a nest of rats.
The next one seems to have an easier time getting to the captain. Tries to take a bite out of him. It will bite him. The captain goes, "Argh!" as it gets on his leg and does 3 piercing damage. The next one will also get to the captain. It's going to be a hit as well. So on one leg he's got 1 rat, on the other leg the other rat's taking a bite. This time he's hit for 5 piercing damage. That's their turn. It is now Wellby.
I'll attack the rat to my north
Okay.
with my short sword.
16 is going to be a hit.
Okay.
You obviously stab it with your short sword. Managed to inflict quite a serious wound on it, but it hisses and comes back. You still technically would have your dagger in your other hand if you wanted to do the bonus action attack with the dagger. That will be a hit. 1 piercing damage. Thankfully, that's all you need, as you quickly just basically slide the dagger into its small but yet oversized head. The light goes off in its eyes. Okay, Talyn.
I'm going to use, or attempt to use Ray of Frost on one of the little blighters. The one that's on its own.
That's a hit. You blast it with Ray of Frost, inflicting 2 damage.
It's now slightly cold.
Yep, and it's a little slowed down now. It's got icicles on its fur. You've still got your movement left.
I think I'll stay where I am.
Okay, the captain has these creatures on his leg. He will do his best to hack them off. So for the first one, that is going to be a miss. He will get to attack again. The same one. This time that's a hit. He smashes it out of the way, hits the wall, and is suitably fried. He will then use his hook hand to try and grab off the next one. Brit.
You got it in the eye.
Okay, so 6 damage total. It's still alive. Third turn. I'll start with the one on his leg. Goes to take another bite. Misses. One on Wellby will try to take a bite out of him. After seeing its little buddy die, and that's going to be a hit.
Son of a
Again, tries to bite through the flesh in your leg, inflicting 3 damage.
Oh, and I'm dead.
Yep, you're unconscious. It will then run through and go straight up to Talyn. Wellby, you're unconscious, but you need to roll a death saving throw with a d20. Okay, wow, you're conscious with 1 hit point.
Yay.
That's the end of your turn though. So Talyn's turn. You've got the rat on you.
Okay,
It's not.
Ray of Frost then.
You'll have to roll that with disadvantage if you're within 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's a miss, yeah. The captain will try to finish these buggers off. 1 attack with his longsword with the one on his leg. It's going to be a hit. That is enough because it's already quite badly injured.
Yeah, you can't not kill it.
Again, attacks with his sword. It's going to be enough.
Come on, Captain.
And the little rat is no more. It's toast.
Yay.
That's the end of that.
Right, now that I'm like basically on my last legs, let's examine these corpses. So roll an investigation check.
Yeah. Examining the 3 corpses, they're reduced to little more than bloody bone and sinew. Definitely human. You can tell that from the length of the bones and so on, the structure. You notice that the symbol you saw on the leather armour of the Bringers of Woe is something that you can see cut deeply in the forehead of these bodies. That it has actually marked the skull of the bones when you examine them.
Goodness, it's okay. Game of Thrones.
But in terms of identifying who these people were, that's going to be next to impossible.
Yeah, so they've pissed off Larrakh at least.
Yeah.
I don't think the other believers have it in them to start murdering people. But it doesn't seem like we can find out who these guys are.
The captain says, definitely not the dwarf I'm after.
They're not any dwarf. Alright, head back to town, I guess.
Yeah. Let's take you to the doctors and get you a rabies shot.
I'm not sure medicine was like that in
the fictional past. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think these people have a germ theory of disease.
They have some idea on disease. They can cast a cure disease spell.
Yeah, that doesn't just say
Fine. Develop rabies. That's your character will slowly start to lose hit points, and then you just won't wake up one day. Or you'll start frothing at the mouth during dinner one day. I give the rope a tug to see if it's still secure.
It does feel quite taut.
I'll go first. I'm the best climber, so if anything goes wrong.
Roll an athletics check. You do manage to get to the top. You recognise the town's constable and his men approaching. In the meantime, Talyn, you can also roll an athletics check.
Yeah.
I think the captain's going to have to...
You start to climb up. And your feet are still on the ground as you...
I'm nearly there yet.
Okay, the captain grabs hold of you under his arm and starts to climb up. He's got you tucked in his hook arms, so Probably want to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Could lose an eye, like him. Thankfully,
How he lost his eye.
just managed to climb up.
Is it-
You've all managed to surface. You're back in the beautiful daylight of Red Larch. You see Grund sort of standing off to the side, looking a bit sheepish, still bruised and battered from the skirmish earlier. Harbuck says, "This is why I never leave town."
Constable, there are at least 10 dead men down there. The man in charge, Larrakh, has made his escape. He may have come out of the yard of Wilbur's wagon works.
This is a lot to process. So you found more bodies in there, and some have been executed?
It seems that way. They
Do
haven't-
you know anything about this substantial underground layer?
No, there is no underground layer. What's under there? Some sort of tomb?
It is a tomb,
Yeah,
I think.
there are cages down there. People must have been using this for a very long time.
Several of the town elders, at least, have formed a sort of cult worshipping the floating stones being mined by some ancient extinct dwarves.
And so you've never come across this or heard any rumours of such a place?
I knew that the ancient dwarves used to live in these lands, but that's meant to have been thousands of years ago. No one's ever discovered any relics or buildings from them.
Well, Constable, your town elders have formed a cult and invited a dangerous man into your midst. The elders involved Rothar, Hatherland, Baragustus, Inleth Whalvar, among others.
Well, these are troubling allegations indeed. I've even seen some of the town elders. Within the last 10 minutes, I saw Baragustus running away from here, from this hole. Elak Dornan is over there.
Constable, get the names of everybody from your friend Grund. I think we should go and have a chat with Elak Dornan while he's still here. He hasn't fled yet.
Harbuck nods and says, "Be careful before you make any serious allegations. The town elders effectively run Red Larch. I wouldn't want anyone who is innocent to be wrongly implicated in anything like this, especially if there's murder involved, which you suggest."
I'll heed your warning. I'll go and interrogate Elak Dornan.
Elak Donna says, "Oh, you managed to get out of there. What was in there?"
You know very well what was in there, Dornan.
I don't know what you mean.
You're one of the believers, aren't you? You invited Larrakh into this town.
I don't know who you've been speaking to, but I don't know any Larrakh.
I've been speaking to your friends Baragustus and Grund.
Yes, I know Grund, and yes, I know Baragustus. He's also a town elder.
Those two at least. They didn't mention you by name, but several of the other village elders they mentioned as members of this cult that worships the clan of extinct dwarves who have a tomb that we just fell into.
I know a lot of the other elders have an interest in the Bellissima dwarves of many years ago. It's nothing too unusual. If they stumbled across some ancient relics, then good for them.
The entrance to the tomb was in your quarry. You mean to suggest that you don't know anything about this?
Do you know the last time I had to actually go to that quarry myself? I have an office.
Fine.
You have a skill called Insight, by the way, just letting you know.
Oh, yeah?
You might not be any good at it, but...
No, I'm -1. I'm not very
Okay.
wise. Can I check whether or not he's
I've been eavesdropping, so I'll make a roll with that.
pinning me a line? Is he telling porkies, do you think? Do I think?
You think that he knows more than he's letting on. It's hard to say. He could just be a very good liar. He says, "Look, I take any allegations against the other town elders with the utmost seriousness. If any of them has acted in any way which could be damaging to Red Larch or its inhabitants, then I want to know just as much as you."
Well, fine. Protect yourself then. The names we were given were Rothar, Hatherland, and Inlet.
Imleth runs this wagon works next to us here. He points across the road to this establishment, which you've already visited.
Yes.
Athland works in my office, one of my employees. I can go and speak to him if you wish. Bring him out and get to the bottom of this.
And you won't mind if we accompany you then?
Absolutely not. Where to first?
And we should check the hut and the wagon works in case there's any sign of where Larrakh went, because that seems to be where he would have emerged, given the captain's description of how he got down there. So the wagon works.
Okay.
Imleth Wavlar, who looks surprisingly like Elak Dornan, stands before you. Various carpenters are working in the shop. Imleth goes, "Elak, and you two again. What can I do for you? Is this about the hole outside?" Elak says, "Our guests here say that you've been implicated in some sort of hidden tomb just through that hole over there. What do you have to say on the matter?" give over. That hall out there's just as much a surprise to me as anyone. Oh, I mean, what if that thing gets bigger? It could take my entire shop down.
So you don't know anything about what may have been going on below? Not heard any rumours?
I hear rumours all the time. I hear things. In terms of me doing anything wrong, I've not done anything wrong, and that's about all I've got to say on the matter. You're like, well, why do you let these people speak to me like this? Well, Imleth, I intend to get to the bottom of what's going on here. What was this? Did I hear something about bodies?
Yeah, several bodies. There were at least 9 in the chamber where the cave-in occurred. They'd been killed with bladed weapons, it seems. And there were 3 that appeared to have been executed sometime earlier.
The man you mentioned, this Larrakh person, where is he now?
He fled through a passage when we confronted him.
This was some kind of uninvited guest.
Can I do an attack intimidation on Imleth?
Yep.
And say, you've been implicated by Braylon, Hatherland and Grund, and Baragustus has named you as a member of the cult of the believers who worship the floating stones. Slightly intimidating. 17.
Okay. Wevler starts to go back in fit. All right. Now, I was involved in this, but not as you think. It was mostly Baragustus. He's a dangerous man, and he can be intimidating. I know he seems old, but he can cleave a man in two with that axe of his.
Baragustus has fled. The constable saw him fleeing the town just moments ago.
What is it exactly you did down there?
Well, Baragustus showed me this place. I can't remember how long ago it was. There was an entrance in the back of my yard, and Baragustus, I saw him there one day, and he said, "Come with me." And when I went down, he showed me a room with bodies, and he told me I had to help move the bodies. He was very specific about moving the bodies. This Larrakh person, I never met him personally, but Baragustus said he was doing work for someone very, very important, very powerful. He told me I had to move the bodies, and so I did, knowing that they were already dead. There was nothing I could do, and my safety was paramount.
Where did you move them?
Just to a room in the tomb. I've only been in there once, maybe twice, and that's all I remember.
When was this?
10 days ago.
Can I do an insight check on?
Yep.
Really tell whether or not he knows more than he's saying.
Do you think he's genuinely scared? Yeah, you're not sure what he's telling the truth. Probably is, don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he's actually a member of the cult at all.
No, I don't. Well, he's certainly not a key member.
No, so Baragustus fled. I suppose that leaves us with Rothar Hatherland, who's the father of the boy, and go and talk to Melandra, I guess. We should first of all check whether or not there's any sign of where Larrakh fled to.
Imleth says, "Look, I will show you the area.
Show us the passage."
There's a back entrance here that he shows you to. Walks you around to his yard. Inside a small shed up the north here, he opens a door. There's an open, what looks like the entrance to a basement going underneath that sort of turns to kind of rocky steps as it goes in. He lights a torch and guides you in. It goes about 15 yards. He turns around and says, "It's blocked off. There's some sort of cave in here."
Okay. Is there any sign out here of what direction Larrakh might have gone in or anything like that?
Make a survival check.
Survival?
Yes.
To do with tracking skills.
Oh yeah. Ooh, no, I'm no tracker.
No, you are not. You failed to see any sort of pattern, any steps leading to anyone.
Well, I'm at a loss. I don't know what happened to Larrakh.
Well, I think we should perhaps let the sheriff and his men question the townspeople.
I've given them the names of everybody except for Melandra. I'd like to speak to Melandra myself at some point.
Yep.
But I think we should tend to our wounds and rest up, I guess. Larrakh has gone. Perhaps we should head to the inn and get some rest. Tend to these wounds.
Captain nods and says, "Well, I guess it's going to be another tight squeeze in my rented room again."
Yeah, we could go back to our own inn.
Imleth nods and bids you good day. Elak Dornan says, "I'll try and speak to the other elders and see what I can learn from all this."
Okay. Be careful with Rothar Hatherland. He's the other one we know has been named. It doesn't seem to me like they were doing anything nefarious. It's more like the only problematic person down there was Larrakh. And maybe Baragustus, but Baragustus is gone. Constable saw him leave. I know not where to.
Elak says, "Well, we'll try his home."
In that case, we'll retire to the inn.
Yeah.
You head north up the road around the hole. There's no sign of the constable at this point, but his men are starting to cordon off the area, put down a bit of a fence. The captain leads back into the room. So it's kind of late morning now. You could long rest and it will be late afternoon or evening.
Yeah. Okay.
You rise from your slumber after a good number of hours. It's now getting a little dark outside. Still plenty of time left in the day. The captain says, well, what next?
I think I need to go and talk to Melandro, find out what his side of the story is, because he's been named as one of the believers. But if I know him, he's got some ulterior motive, he's got some scheme or other.
The captain says, well, he is a criminal after all, so if anyone's involved in this mess, I would put money on it being him.
Yeah.
You hear talking from the main room. You recognise one of the voices, you realise it's Harbuck. I need to speak to them now if they're here. There you are. Well, we found Barry Augustus. He was in his home.
Fled to his home.
Unfortunately, he was hanging from a long rope.
Poor bastard.
We found this. It hands you a note.
Curse those poisoned dwarves.
Is there any way of telling how recently this note was written?
Investigation. You run your finger against the ink. It's still a little bit wet, so you think it's been done today.
Do you mind if we keep this note?
Not at all. We've taken his body and it's in my office. I did manage to recover many of the corpses from Larrakh as well. I have recognised at least one of them as being a trader that comes to our market fair at once a week every 10 days. I guess he won't be coming this week. We haven't seen him in some time actually. Now we know why.
Constable, what are you going to do with Grund?
We've taken him in for questioning.
Whatever you do with him, keep him safe for the time being. I suspect his life might be in danger if Larrakh is still on the loose, which he probably is. And have you spoken to Rothar Hatherland or any of the other elders about this?
No, I've not managed to locate them yet. We've been dealing with this body.
Do you mind if we investigate the body?
Not at all. You're always welcome to come into my office and help with anything you can.
I think we should check out this body and, if possible, see if we can find another set of writing to compare handwriting, because I don't believe that he committed suicide.
Well, I think it's quite reasonable that he might have done.
I think it's a very convenient note to put all the blame on him.
Harbuck says, now you mention it, he was quite a timid sort. It's hard to imagine him killing people, or at least even being physically capable of it, given that he was so old.
I know it didn't say that he killed anybody.
You found bodies in them, and he claims to be the only one involved.
Yeah.
No, Larrakh was involved.
Very suspicious.
He said that he invited Larrakh in. Larrakh tried to kill us.
I still think he's been made a scapegoat, and the.
Well, perhaps Larrakh is the only person we should be looking for then, in that case. I would like that to be the case, given that a scandal would not do Red Larch any good. As ever, I endeavour to discover the truth.
Well, it can't hurt to look at the body, I guess.
Yeah. I suspect foul play. Well, I won't say this in front of the constable. The Elak Dornan guy. I think it's him that's framed the old guy.
I'd be tempted to suggest Rothar Hatherland, or maybe Melandro, because they've been named by Barry Augustus.
Let's go check out the body.
Okay.
You head just south, it's not too far away.
Okay.
CSI Red Larch.
Amble along to the butcher shop where they're probably butchering our man, Barry Augustus, selling his meat.
Just in the corner is the body of Barry Augustus.
Poor sod. Alright, let's take a look-see. Well, I can't see anything.
There does seem to be a bit of a line around his neck. You assume that's where the rope was.
Yep.
Are there any other bruises or markings on him?
Do you want to do an investigation check? You start to examine him, and
You guys like a story with that.
you realise that one side, his arm is definitely broken, as are a few of his fingers on the same side. The captain says, well, I know better than anyone. It's hard to do things when you've only got one hand.
So foul play it is.